The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, has revealed that out of the 11 cases referred by the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority to his office over the Gen Z killings and injuries last year, none is yet to meet the threshold for prosecution. In a press statement, the ODPP explained that most of these cases have either been sent back to Ipoa for further investigation or ordered to undergo public inquest to determine the identities of the perpetrators. The Law Society of Kenya has in the meantime called for urgent legal action against police officers linked to extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances, especially during last year's Gen Z-led demonstrations, accusing Ipoa and the ODPP of dragging their feet, despite glaring evidence implicating the men and women in uniform. Ben Kiroi has the details of that story.
In the wake of explosive revelations by a BBC documentary linking police officers to the extrajudicial killings of Gen Z protesters, pressure is mounting on investigative bodies to ensure justice for victims. On Wednesday, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, issued a detailed update on the status of the investigations, informing that most cases out of those submitted to the office had been closed due to insufficient evidence, while others were referred back to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for further investigations. Among the active cases is that of Evans Kiratu, who reportedly died from blunt force trauma sustained on June 20th, 2024 in Nairobi's CBD. While the ODPP cited lack of conclusive evidence, the case remains open, with a public inquest still underway. Rex Kanyike Masai, who was shot in the thigh during protest, is the subject of a public inquest after the ODPP found Ipoa's evidence inconclusive. The ODPP said key witnesses failed to come forward, while the CCTV footage failed to clearly identify the shooter. Public inquest hearings are expected to resume on May 12th. Gianna Makel Obonyo, a young girl struck by a bullet while cycling in her parents' compound on June 25th, 2024, has been referred back to Ipoa. The ODPP cited incomplete forensic evidence as the bullet had not been released by Kenyatta National Hospital for ballistic examination. In Andrew Mwawasi's case linked to a shooting incident in Githurai 44, the ODPP confirmed it is reviewing the inquiry file and will announce a course of action soon. Cases closed due to lack of evidence include that of Tillan Odhiambo, with the DPP noting the medical report did not indicate any offense. The file has been marked closed. Similarly, the case of Emmanuel Giggs Tata was dropped after investigations found no evidence linking his death to police action. However, the DPP noted the file could be reopened if new information emerges. The inquiry into the death of Lewis Mroso was also closed, with the ODPP citing a lack of eyewitness and no proof of police involvement. Nonetheless, the DCI Parklands has been directed to open an inquest. Meanwhile, the Law Society of Kenya LSK has intensified calls for swift accountability.
Investigative report aired by the BBC African Eye on 27 April 2025 has left the country in shock over the malice, impunity and brutality with which unarmed young Kenyans were executed by officers of the national security organs for merely expressing their dissatisfaction with the government of the day.
They accused both Ipoa and the ODPP of dragging their feet, despite glaring evidence, and urged the government to fast-track investigations and prosecutions. DPP Renson Igonga acknowledged the gravity of the events of June 25th, 2024, stating that legal processes alone may not fully address the underlying issues, saying a purely judicial or prosecutorial response may not suffice, preferring what he terms a wall-of-society approach may be needed, saying the ODPP continues to work with all stakeholders to find the best way forward that will comprehensively address the issues. Ben Kiroi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.